So, the Bridgewater mall fight, was that racism? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I'm a huge fan of Fearless with Jason Whitlock. You know, Jason Whitlock, he just tells it like it is. He gives you the honest truth, leaves out the emotion. And that's why I love him so much. I love his show. I watch all the time. You know, he reminds me so much of Charles Barkley. I would say he's more articulate than Charles Barkley, but they just tell the honest truth. They leave the emotions out of it. They give you the factual truth based upon what happened. And we really need more men like that. Anyway, I was watching the show and they reported on this incident that happened at a mall in Bridgewater, New Jersey. There was a fight that took place between a white teen and you can say a biracial teen. So let's go ahead and look at the footage.
Go right out there. Go right here. Right now. You're talking to individual. What do you do? You know how to come outside. Oh! Yo! No, bro. Chill. Brian, get up. Brian, leave. Oh no. Yo, it's because he's black. Racially motivated.
So we saw the video here. Now, based upon what we can see, you know, the white teen confronted the black team on something we don't know, because you know, teenagers fight. It won't be the first time. It certainly won't be the last. But basically the white teen was pointing at him. The black kid, like, hey, push his hand out of his face, and the white kid pushed him, and this is when the physical altercation started. Now, they were fighting backwards and forward, and the white kid, but the black kid, looks like he slipped, and around this time, the police got there. Now, there was a female police officer and a male police officer. The female police officer got there about a second before, and the white kid was standing up. So she immediately got the white kid, got him out of the fray, and sat him down in the nearest chair. Well, the male officer basically jumped in on the black teen who was on the ground, and wrestled with him in an attempt to try to basically handcuff him. Now, the white female officer, once she realized that she figured that she had the white teen under control, she looked around, saw her partner, I'm guessing which is her partner, wrestling with the black kid, handcuffing him, so she went in and joined him. Well, the question is that racism? Well, on the surface, you look at this and it will say the white kid started the fight, but they handcuffed the black kid. Unfortunately for the left, they only deal in surface level. But conservatives, we delve deeper and we get all the facts. So first and foremost, the female cop did nothing. She did nothing wrong. She did her job, right? Okay, she basically subdued the white teen because he was standing up. She got there first and took him out of the fray and set him down. And when she saw that her partner was still wrestling with the white kid, handcuffed him, and she didn't know if the black kid was trying to get up and continue to fight anything. All she knew was the male cop was handcuffed him on the ground, so she went in to aid him. She did nothing wrong, so nobody can say that she's racist. Now, the white male, he immediately jumped in on the black kid who was already on the ground and started to handcuff him. And this is what people can say was racist. But the only way that you can say this is racist is you have to answer some questions. First of all, is that white man racist? Does he hate black people, right? Does he have a history as a police officer of using excessive force against blacks while not using excessive force against white people? Hell, does he have a history of using excessive force in general? Can we study his track record and background, how he responded previously into those situations to see how he responds differently with blacks and differently with whites? Because we have no idea beyond that. I mean, had he got there first, a second ahead of the white officer, and the white kid was standing up, he could have taken the white kid and wrestled him to the ground and tried to handcuff him, because that's probably maybe his nature. Whereas a female cop would have went to the black kid who was sitting on the ground and would have stood over him, made sure he couldn't get up anything. We don't know anything other than that. So in order for anyone to say that this was racism, you have to know that white male cop and know his history and know if he hates black people or not. That's the only way you can see. Beyond that, nobody can say there was racism, because at the end of the day, nothing happened to these teens. Once the black kid was handcuffed, they picked him up and sat him in a chair, and I'm pretty sure once they figured out what was going on, they unhandcuffed him and they sent the boys on their way. I mean, it was, as Steve Harvey said, it was a mall fight. It's something that you want to avoid, but it was, if you want to say that this is racism, and I don't see it unless you answer those questions, and we know that the left are not going to do this because they only deal at surface level. But I don't see any racism here unless those questions are answered. The cops were just responding, and at the end of the day, nothing happened to these kids. They went on their way, I'm pretty sure. But now, like I said, if the situation was reversed and the white team would have been handcuffed and that black kid wouldn't have been handcuffed, nobody would have had nothing to say. Again, if it would have been two white kids, nobody would have nothing to say. The only thing where this is racism, quote unquote, why people have so much to say, is because the black kid was handcuffed, and thus all the race hustlers come running to the fray, running out of the woodworks, crying racism, and they're gonna cry racism about this until this situation die down. Then they're gonna go back under there wherever they come from and wait for the next race situation. Now, as far as, I hear a lot of people saying that we need training for the cops. I disagree. I mean, the cops are already heavily, highly trained. We don't need no more training for police officers. The training needs to be in a home. These kids need to be trained, because if we start training these kids in a home, there'll be less altercations between blacks and cops. But beyond that, like I said, anyone who says that this is racism, you better provide me the evidence the answer to those questions that I asked. If you can answer yes to those questions, then we can say, okay, well, maybe this is racism on that racist male cops, but not the female. The female did nothing wrong here. But of course, like I said, until those questions are answered, in my eyes, based upon what I see, there was no racism here. Now, one thing that the people will say is, well, they look at young black males as being violent, right? Well, okay, so you're telling me that there's no reason whatsoever for anyone to look at young black males as being violent? That's a goddamn lie. But anyway, like I say, I don't see any racism here until people answer those questions. If those answers, the answer to all those questions equal yes, then I will be the first person to say, well, yes, that was racism by a racist cop, racist male cop, but the female did no wrong. So that's my 2 cents on this video. It's 2 cents on this. Again, just two kids fighting. It happens. We've seen it before. It's going to continue to happen. That's just part of being human beings. But as far as racism, no, I'm sorry. You got to give me evidence. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.